Close your eyes and try to picture the ultimate dream. You see the roaring crowd, a sea of faces painted in your team's colors. You feel the heavy, intoxicating weight of a championship ring on your finger. You picture the flashing cameras, the multi-million-dollar direct deposits hitting your bank account while you sleep, the sprawling mansions, the legacy, the gold jackets, the immortality. That is what they sell you. It is the ultimate modern myth, broadcasted into the living rooms of billions of people around the globe. It is a carefully constructed narrative designed to make you worship the gladiator. But what they absolutely refuse to tell you is the exact, agonizing price of admission. You probably think becoming a professional athlete is a simple matter of talent meeting hard work. It isn't. The world of elite sports is not a meritocracy. It is an industrial sorting machine designed to break human bodies down into measurable, exploitable profit margins. You are not becoming a hero. You are becoming a heavily depreciating asset in a corporate ledger. Today, we are going to walk step by step through all 10 levels of the professional sports machine. We will start from the innocent, beautiful delusions of your childhood and march relentlessly toward the absolute, terrifying isolation of level 10. By the time this journey is over, you will look at your favorite superstar playing on a Sunday afternoon and you will not see a god. You will see a ghost trapped in a golden cage. And this slow erasure of your humanity all begins with the very first lie you are ever told.
Level 1, the delusion. Level 1 is where the psychological conditioning begins, and it starts when you are far too young to understand what is happening. You are just a kid. You genuinely love the game. The grass smells fresh, the ball feels like an extension of your own hand, and your only real goal in life is to win that cheap plastic trophy on a Saturday morning so you can celebrate with orange slices. It is pure. It is exactly what sports are supposed to be. But then, the curse strikes. You show a flash of generational greatness. You run just a fraction of a second faster than the other kids. You hit the ball a little harder. You possess a natural, fluid coordination that makes the other parents whisper on the sidelines. Instantly, the adults around you change. The transformation in your father's eyes is the most terrifying part. You are no longer just his son or daughter. You have suddenly become his second chance at a life he failed to achieve. The fun evaporates overnight, replaced by a rigid, suffocating blanket of expectations. You are pulled out of normal childhood activities. You start training 6 days a week. Your knees constantly ache with growing pains, compounded by the endless, repetitive stress of drills. You tell your youth coach that your ankle feels weird, that there is a sharp pain when you plant your foot. He looks down at you, unsmiling, and tells you to tape it up and be a man. You are only 9 years old, but you were presented with your first real choice. Do you cry, sit on the bench, and risk disappointing the man who pays for your expensive travel gear? Or do you swallow the pain, jog back onto the field with a slight limp, and learn the very first fundamental rule of the system? The rule is simple. Your body is a tool, and tools do not have the right to complain. You choose to play. You swallow the agony. You level up.
Level 2, the meat market. Welcome to Level 2. The joy you once felt for the game is completely dead and buried. You are 16 years old, but you have not actually been a teenager in years. You do not go to high school parties. You do not have relaxing weekends. You do not experience the awkward, beautiful milestones of normal adolescence. You belong entirely to the travel teams, the elite summer showcases, the private coaches, and the hovering recruiters. This is the meat market. Grown men, scouts and analysts from massive billion-dollar universities are suddenly circling your life like vultures. They are not looking at your character, your intelligence, or your personality. They are measuring your wingspan. They are timing your sprint speed down to the 100th of a second. They are calculating your vertical leap. You are assigned a star rating on internet message boards where middle-aged strangers fiercely critique your teenage body, dissecting your perceived flaws with ruthless cruelty. The pressure at this stage is absolutely crushing. One blown anterior cruciate ligament, one bad season, one instance of teenage rebellion, and your entire identity vanishes into thin air. Your family has invested tens of thousands of dollars into your potential, taking out second mortgages to afford elite camps and specialized trainers. If you fail to secure a full-ride scholarship, you will essentially bankrupt the people who raised you. The weight of your entire family's financial future rests entirely on the fragile cartilage of your knees. Your grades are slipping because you train until midnight and wake up at 5 in the morning to lift weights. You are exhausted to your very marrow. A well-meaning booster or an aggressive assistant coach quietly offers a solution. They have someone who will take your standardized tests for you. It guarantees you stay eligible for the showcase that will determine your entire future. Do you keep your integrity, fail the test, and watch your scholarship slip away? Or do you cheat, finally accepting that in this hyper-competitive world, performance on the field is the only morality that actually matters? You let them take the test. The machine smiles upon you. You level up.
Level 3, the filter. You have made it to the elite amateur level. You are playing on national television under the blinding lights of massive collegiate stadiums filled with 100,000 screaming fanatics. Your jersey, bearing your exact number, is being sold in the campus bookstore for $150 a pop. The head coach of your team makes $9 million a year. The athletic director flies across the country on a private jet funded by television networks. And you? You are eating cheap instant ramen in a cramped cinderblock dorm room, aggressively forbidden by archaic rules from profiting off your own name, image, and likeness. Level 3 is where you finally realize that you are nothing more than indentured labor. You are the engine generating millions of dollars in media rights, ticket sales, and merchandise. But if you sign a t-shirt for $50 to send money back to your struggling mother, you will be suspended, investigated, and publicly disgraced by the very institution that profits off your sweat. The cognitive dissonance is maddening. You are treated like a literal deity when you walk across campus. Students beg for your attention, professors give you passes, and alumni worship the ground you walk on. But behind closed doors, to the athletic department, you are completely disposable. If you suffer a career-ending injury tomorrow, your scholarship will be quietly revoked at the end of the semester, and you will be replaced by a new 18-year-old recruit before your locker is even cleaned out. A wealthy booster corners you at a quiet off-campus dinner. He praises your recent game, talks about how much joy you bring to the city, and then smoothly slides a thick envelope of untraceable cash across the table. It is enough money to pay your family's overdue rent back home for an entire year. Taking it breaks every single rule in the amateur handbook. Taking it risks everything. But looking at that envelope, you have to ask yourself, do you stay pure for a corrupt system that ruthlessly exploits you? Or do you take a fraction of what you have rightfully earned? You pocket the envelope. You justify it in your mind. You level up. Level 4, the signature and the machine. Draft day, the day you have bled for. You hear your name called by the commissioner. You walk across that brightly lit stage, put on the team hat, and smile for 1,000 flashing cameras. Your bank account suddenly has 2 commas in it. You have conquered the world, beaten impossible statistical odds, and secured generational wealth. But look closer at level 4. Look closely at the massive encyclopedic contract you just signed with a luxury fountain pen. It does not just dictate your astronomical salary. It dictates what brands you are allowed to wear in public. It dictates what you can and cannot say on your own social media accounts. It strictly forbids you from riding a motorcycle, skiing, or engaging in any activity that might damage the team's investment. You are instantly surrounded by a suffocating swarm of agents, financial advisors, managers, publicists, and lawyers. They all take 3% here, 5% there, bleeding your fortune through 1,000 tiny contractual cuts. You realize with a sickening drop in your stomach that you no longer own yourself. You are a corporation.
The concept of you is now a brand, carefully and aggressively managed by crisis public relations teams. The gritty, authentic, passionate kid from the neighborhood is systematically scrubbed clean. They put you in a sterile, custom-tailored suit and teach you how to give hollow, meaningless, inoffensive answers to the press. You must smile, nod, and speak in cliches. Your childhood best friend, the guy who spotted you in the gym for 10 years, the guy who kept you safe on the streets, gets arrested for a minor offense and it makes the local news. Your PR team immediately calls an emergency meeting. They tell you to publicly cut ties with him immediately, to denounce him, in order to save a multi-million-dollar shoe sponsorship that hinges on your clean image. Do you stand by your blood, the only person who actually knows the real ye? Or do you protect the brand at all costs? You slowly delete his number from your phone. You release the corporate statement. You level up.
Level 5. The chemical veil. You have reached the midpoint of the journey. The money is truly staggering, but the physical reality of the professional schedule is systematically destroying you from the inside out. Human bodies were simply not designed to endure high-impact collisions, unnatural torque, or maximum cardiovascular exertion 4 nights a week for 8 months straight. By level 5, you exist in a state of permanent, thrumming agony. You are never not in pain. Your morning routine takes 2 full hours of ice baths, stretching, and deep tissue manipulation just to get your inflamed joints moving enough to walk down the stairs. Then comes the inevitable catastrophe. During a meaningless mid-season game, you plant your foot incorrectly. You feel a sickening pop in your knee. You have torn a ligament. Independent specialists tell you it needs at least 6 weeks of absolute rest to heal properly without risking long-term, irreversible arthritis. But the head coach pulls you aside. He tells you the team is making a crucial playoff push. He tells you that your backup is playing well, maybe a little too well. He heavily implies that if you don't find a way to get back on the field, the front office might rethink that massive contract extension you were banking on next summer. Enter the chemical veil. The team doctors, who you must remember are paid by the billionaire owner of the franchise, not by you, offer you a highly efficient solution. They bring out the cortisone injections, driving massive needles directly into the joint to artificially reduce the swelling. They hand you Toradol pills and powerful opioid painkillers that completely numb the natural alarm system of your body. They are not healing you. They are muting the damage so the machine can keep running. Do you sit out, let your body heal as nature intended, and watch your backup permanently steal your starting job, your endorsements, and your future? Or do you let the doctor push that needle into your spine, masking a catastrophic structural injury, just so you can run out of the tunnel to the roar of a crowd that Will forget you the moment you stop producing? You roll up your sleeve. You take the shot. You feel the warm, terrifying numbness spread through your veins. You level up. Level 6. The Paranoia. You are a seasoned, multi-millionaire veteran now. You have the sprawling mansion behind iron gates, the fleet of exotic sports cars, the diamond jewelry, and the VIP treatment in every city on Earth. You have won the game of capitalism. But level 6 is a mental prison far worse than any physical pain you have endured. You are drowning in a deep, inescapable paranoia. Every distant relative you haven't spoken to in a decade, every attractive person you meet in an exclusive club, every guy from your old block suddenly wants a piece of the pie. When people look into your eyes, they do not see a human being. They see a walking, breathing ATM machine. The people you genuinely thought loved you are suddenly presenting you with can't-miss business opportunities that are incredibly obvious predatory scams. If you tell them no, they call you arrogant, claiming the money changed you, trying to guilt you into funding their parasitic lifestyles. If you say yes, they will drain your accounts completely dry. You can no longer go to a normal grocery store. You cannot eat at a quiet restaurant without a glowing smartphone camera being aggressively shoved in your face by a stranger demanding a performance. Your world inevitably shrinks.
You retreat behind your massive security gates, surrounded only by a carefully vetted perimeter of paid yes men. They laugh at all your jokes, not because you are funny, but because you sign their exorbitant checks every 2 weeks. You are profoundly, deeply, and terrifyingly alone inside a crowded room. A woman you briefly dated threatens to go to the tabloid media with completely fabricated, career-ruining domestic allegations unless you wire her an offshore payment of $500,000. Your lawyers tell you that you would absolutely win in court, but the trial would take a year, your sponsors would drop you instantly due to the morality
Clauses in your contracts, and the media circus would permanently stain your legacy. Do you fight for the truth and drag your name through the mud? Or do you quietly pay the extortion fee to make the nightmare vanish, accepting that truth is an expensive luxury you can no longer afford? You authorize the wire transfer. You level up. Level 7. The apex and the transaction. You have reached the absolute summit. You are universally recognized as a superstar. You are the face of the franchise, perhaps even the face of the league. Children wear your jersey all over the world. But at level 7, a chilling numbness has entirely replaced your passion. You feel absolutely nothing when you step onto the field. The game is no longer a sport. It is an elaborate mathematical equation of risk mitigation and brand management. Every single interaction you have is purely transactional. You smile for the cameras because your contract mandates a certain number of media appearances. You visit the children's hospital not because it fills your heart, but because your public relations manager needs B-roll footage to push back against a recent negative article regarding your off-field behavior. You are surrounded by sycophants, but you trust no one. The team management smiles in your face and calls you family, but you know for a fact they employ a team of actuaries and data scientists whose sole job is to calculate the exact millisecond your physical decline will begin so they can trade you before your market value drops. You are playing a brutal game of chess against the very organization that pays you. You no longer play to win championships. You play to accumulate the specific individual statistics necessary to trigger the incentive clauses in your contract. You are a mercenary, an emotional void wrapped in expensive athletic gear. The transformation from an innocent child playing a game to a cold, calculating corporate entity is fully complete. You have mastered the system, but the system has entirely consumed your soul. You level up.
Level 8. The decline. You are entering the twilight of your athletic mortality. You are 32 years old, an age considered young in the real world, but in the brutal calculus of professional sports, you are ancient. The heavy painkillers and the cortisone shots aren't working as well as they used to. You wake up with migraines. You have lost half a step of explosive speed, and in a league where the margins of victory are measured in milliseconds, half a step might as well be a mile. Suddenly, the franchise that called you their cornerstone for a decade uses a first-round draft pick on a 19-year-old kid who plays your exact position. They bring him into the locker room and explicitly ask you to mentor him. They want you to smile for the cameras and willingly train your own executioner. The media narrative surrounding you aggressively flips overnight. You used to be the golden child, the savior of the city. Now, local sports talk radio hosts tear you apart daily. They call you a liability, a bloated, untradeable contract, a selfish, aging veteran who is holding the franchise hostage and blocking the development of the youth. The organization begins quietly restricting your playing time, benching you in crucial moments to humiliate you, hoping to frustrate you enough that you will waive your hard-earned no-trade clause. The blind loyalty you showed them for a decade, playing through concussions, playing through broken bones, sacrificing your family time, means absolutely nothing. The general manager calls you into a cold, sterile office. He doesn't look you in the eye. He tells you that you need to take a massive, insulting pay cut and accept a permanent bench role, or they will trade you to the most dysfunctional, miserable franchise in the league.
Do you swallow your immense, hard-earned pride and become a glorified background character in your own story? Or do you demand a trade, uprooting your family across the country purely out of spite and a desperate need for respect? You slam the door and demand the trade. You level up. Level 9. The Edge of the Abyss. Levels 8 and 9 blur together in a frantic, desperate, and humiliating fight against time. You are bouncing from city to city on unguaranteed one-year veteran minimum contracts. You are essentially a highly paid mercenary clinging to the absolute fringes of the league. The game is no longer about glory, championships, or even money. It is purely about the psychological terror of letting go. You start seeking out incredibly dark, alternative, and unregulated medical treatments just to keep your battered frame functional. You are flying to sketchy clinics in Germany to have your blood spun and re-injected into your knees. You are taking experimental stem cell treatments in Panama that the FDA hasn't approved. You are consulting with underground gurus for designer supplements that are technically legal today, but might result in a lifetime ban tomorrow. You have become a walking biological experiment, willing to inject anything into your veins to squeeze out one last drop of athletic value before the clock officially runs out. Your wife finally takes the kids and leaves. She tells you that she cannot be married to a ghost anymore, that you are physically present but psychologically absent, endlessly obsessing over film study, diet, and recovery. Your entire existence revolves around icing your shattered joints in dark hotel rooms, chasing a past prime version of yourself that is already long dead. You are addicted to the identity of the athlete, and you will destroy your liver, your brain, and your family to hold on to it for just one more season. But eventually, inevitably, the machine stops. You level up for the very last time.
Level 10. The Void. The day finally comes when nobody offers you a contract. You do not get a grand, televised farewell tour. You do not get a final standing ovation. The phone simply stops ringing. You are 35 years old. For your entire conscious life, every single minute of your day, your schedule, your diet, your travel, your social circle, and your fundamental purpose for drawing breath was meticulously dictated by a multi-billion-dollar organization. Now, you wake up on a random Tuesday morning with absolutely nothing to do. The silence in your massive house is deafening, heavy, and suffocating. The adrenaline withdrawals hit your nervous system like a violent physical sickness. You have millions of dollars sitting in diversified investment accounts, but you possess absolutely no real-world skills. You do not know how to be a normal person. The vast entourage of friends, managers, and hangers-on who surrounded your VIP tables vanish overnight, moving on to the next rookie with a signing bonus. But the absolute worst part of Level 10 is the broken, ruined vessel you are permanently trapped in. You try to pick up your own children in the backyard, and your lower back seizes up in blinding agony. You cannot jog. You cannot sleep through the night without throbbing joint pain. You start forgetting where you put your keys. You forget conversations you had yesterday. It is a terrifying, creeping whisper of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the repetitive brain trauma you suffered while they cheered for your toughness. You sit alone in your dark, temperature-controlled trophy room. You look at the gleaming silver hardware on the walls. You close your eyes and try to remember the deafening roar of the crowd, but the memory feels hollow, like it belongs to someone else. You gave the machine your youth, your unbreakable joints, your sharp mind, your family, and your soul. In return, they gave you a plaque, a bank account, and the terrifying reality that they forgot your name the exact second the next kid ran out of the tunnel. They held you, they owned you, and now they are finally done with you. Welcome to the end of the game.